All right, Wayne Allyn Root, when I talk about the insanity going on in this country and the communist attack going on in this country from 1,000 different angles, perfectly, his name is Jake Lang. He's a 26-year-old entrepreneur from New York, arrested at the Capitol in D.C. on January 6th. He's calling from prison. He's been held in a D.C. jail for 10 months without bond under awful conditions. His website is j6truth.org, as in January 6th, truth.org, j6truth.org. Jake Lang calling from the D.C. jail. Jake, you're on with Wayne Allyn Root. Good day.
Wayne, God bless you, brother. Thank you for all you guys are doing out there, man.
I know that you've said you're being treated like a prisoner of war. It's that bad. Explain to everybody exactly what they're doing to you.
I've been here for 11 months now, going on the full year, and it has been a wild roller coaster of a ride. In the beginning, we started out on 23-hour lockdowns here. I did 200 days of real deal solitary confinement. 23 hours in my cell, 1 hour out to shower and to use a phone call my lawyer and my family. Since then, it has improved slightly as far as the amount of time we're out of our cells. Now we're 5 hours out of our cells a day, so only 18 and a half hours a day in our cells. And, you know, the reason why it feels like I'm a prisoner of war is simply because I look outside my window and I can see the residents of D.C. like walking their dogs in this park that's nearby and pushing strollers and stuff like that. And meanwhile, on the other side of the fence, they don't know that American citizens are being tortured. I have not seen my family. They won't let me see my family for a complete year now. No visitations, no haircuts, no shaves, no access to the legal library, no access to religious services.
Days without a shower, right? Days without a shower.
I spent one time, probably about 4 or 5 months ago, I spent 9 days locked in my cell without getting out of my cell.
And what are the charges? What do they say you did that justifies the treatment you're telling me?
So recently, I have a swath of different, charges and whatnot that they're alleging that I committed. But, the videos show on j6truth.org, there's a certain situation that happened at the Capitol with this brave woman named Roseanne Boylan who lost her life at the hands of the Capitol Police, and I tried to save her life. I was pulling at her. I couldn't budge her out under this dog pile that the Capitol Police created. They pummeled people over on top of each other, 3-4 deep. She got caught at the bottom. I moved over from after I knew I couldn't save her. She lost her life in my arms. It was too late for her. I moved over from her. Directly next to her is this young man, Philip Anderson, young black man, amazing guy. He was unconscious with his tongue hanging out the outside of his mouth. I got underneath him. I was able to budge him out, scooped him up, bear hugged him, dragged him down the steps, lifeless, and brought him to the medics, the volunteer medics we had there, and they revived him. He's since signed a court affidavit, signed declaration in court saying, if Jake Lang wasn't there that day, I would have been dead. The Capitol Police tried to murder me.
And the judge couldn't care less. They leave you in prison with no bail. First of all, remember
this. It's no bail for me, and I'm seen on video saving lives. And on top of that, my most recent court date I just had, they offered me a plea deal of 108 months, 9 years of my life for saving people's lives and defending the Constitution at the United States Capitol that day.
To me, what happened at Capitol was a misdemeanor. They should be offering you leave now and you'll get a suspended sentence and probation for a year. They're offering you 9 or 10 years in prison? For what?
They just took away that plea deal. They're saying we're posturing to go to trial. I had a plea deal of 9 years, of 108 months. They've since taken that away about 4 days ago, and they're saying we're taking you to trial. They want to lock me up for decades, Wayne. They want to take my life and destroy my life because I was brave enough to stand up for our constitutional liberties at the United States Capitol on January 6th. And when the police assaulted unarmed peaceful protesters, I was also brave enough to defend my life and defend other people's lives. And that's why they want to destroy me. And there's 40 other men in here who are just as brave as me, awesome patriots who I love, and I know them dearly now for a year now, but they're trying to destroy their lives too. It is a battle for our lives. American people need to stand behind us.
Jake, I heard there was a tunnel. My understanding is there was some sort of an underpass, a tunnel, and in that underpass... Go ahead.
I was in the tunnel for 3 hours, Wayne. defending people and saving lives and protecting people. It was absolutely disgusting what they did. I can tell you what, 2:40 p.m., the first protesters enter that tunnel. I enter shortly after, a couple minutes after. I'm in the middle of the crowd. I have my phone raised above my head. I'm just recording. I'm like a journalist in there, recording the events of the day. So the crowd comes in, swells in from behind us in the tunnel, and the police hold their line in this tunnel. For what reason? They decided to make sure this was a place that they were going to hold death do them part. Like Bunker Hill style holding it. I don't know why. On the other side of the Capitol, at the same time, the cops are giving fist bumps to people, taking selfies, hugging people. But on the West Terrace tunnel, they're deciding to try to kill people, and they're going to defend this with their lives. And instead of de-escalating the violence, they brought it to a whole new disgusting level. There's people inside, on my video, on my cell phone I have, in my discovery that the government's using as evidence against me, my own cell phone video. People with their backs turned to the police trying to leave this tunnel because they're starting to get crushed. About 2:43, I start calling out, "Please help us. The police are squishing us to death. We're getting killed in here. They're beating us to death. Help us, help us." Then the police start overhand, like they're chopping wood, with two hands, clubbing elderly people with gray hair in front of me with these steel batons, hitting them on top of the head, blood's gushing out of their heads. It is a war scene. It's disgusting what I'm viewing. These are unarmed, peaceful protesters there in the name of the Constitution, there in the name of the love of liberty. And the police are brutalizing them, knocking them unconscious, beating them to death, literally in front of my eyes. And I decided to put my phone away at that time and start defending people. And, thank God, because the scenes that I've seen in there, and the older elderly and the women that they targeted, these Capitol Police officers, they should be ashamed of themselves, what they did inside that tunnel. They killed Roseanne Boylan. There's videos on j6truth.org right now of them beating Roseanne Boylan unconscious as she's on the ground and killing her. And there was other people that were almost met her same fate. And there's so many great people that were inside that tunnel that are with me here, and God bless them for showing up that day.
We're talking to Jake Lang, who is calling from the D.C. prison. He's in jail, D.C. jail. He's been in prison for 10 months without bond under awful conditions. He feels it's like being a prisoner of war in his own United States of America. And the whole thing is insane. You do realize, I'm sure you do, but I'll make sure my listeners realize, they won't give you bail. You're in jail for 11 months, part of it in solitary. And all the BLM people had burned and looted and murdered and robbed and burned stores to the ground and threw Molotov cocktails at policemen. They all either were never arrested, no FBI ever hunted them down, they've never been in jail for long periods of time, and most of them got no bail, just walk out. You have no bail as in you don't get bail, you stay in jail. They have no bail as in it's a revolving door, no bail. You just get right out. It's
a revolving door. Every day I get the New York Post here. Every day I'm seeing my city. I love New York City. I'm a New York City guy. To the grave. I love my city, but what the Democrats have done to New York City and this Bail Reform Act, it's so two-sided. They've weaponized the FBI and the Department of Justice to go after patriots and conservatives only and use the Bail Reform Act against us to keep us here, but to let out these people with rap sheets, miles long. I've never been convicted of any major crime in my life. I have a misdemeanor from 6 years ago from getting caught with some weed in the Hamptons or something like that in Long Island. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own social media website, libertycentric.com. It's a platform for free speech. It's similar to Parler and Getter and stuff like that. This is what I do for a living.
Jake, but I got to ask you something. Jake, I got to interrupt because I got to ask you something because I know my listeners are thinking this, right? How, if they're treating you this badly in prison, you're being treated like a prisoner of war, you're being treated like a murderer, then explain to me how you're able to call Wayne Root on national radio from a prison cell. How do they allow you to do a media interview from a prison cell?
So, the answer is very simple. We have such an amazing support system and connection with the January 6th prisoners. We have amazing people behind us. Kelly, my assistant, she's been able to reach out to you guys and set up this interview just using the simple phone calls that we get. We have people like Hong from Prisoner's Record on Telegram that have connected me with Kelly. They have like 50, 60,000 people that do a prayer group for us every single night. These people are warring in the spirit for us, praying for us. We sing the national anthem every single night, 9 p.m. The families of the January 6ers have stepped up across the board, started websites, started organizations.
But aren't you going to get punished?
We got Marjorie Taylor Greene involved.
Jake, aren't you going to get punished when they find out you did a media interview
with
Wayne
Allyn?
Allyn?
Yeah, of course I am, but liberty, fear does not live in the heart of patriots. I can't make my decisions based off of fear. That's why I showed up January 6th, because the country deserves brave people to stand up and to tell the truth and to do what is necessary to ensure the Constitution is abided by forever. And
no, I agree with you. I'm just amazed that they would let you tell the world how bad they're treating you, so that now there's even more publicity and more conservatives know that you're being mistreated in prison and our country's become a communist hellhole. The people running your prison are a bunch of communist traitors to the United States of America, and you're a good guy, and now everybody knows it. It's factual. I'm sure they're going to get very angry when they find out about that.
Of course, and say hello to the FBI agents and my prosecuting, attorney from the United States government. Say hello to them, because they're sure to be listening in on this.
They're sure to be listening. Wayne Root says, treat Jake Lang nicely, because next time we're going to bring 100,000 people to Jake Lang's prison and surround the D.C. jail. This is insane that you could treat American patriots this way. Jake, we got to run. We're on the run. His website, j6truth.org. j6truth.org. Jake Lang, God bless you.